It's not a walkthrough, playthrough, review, anything like that. It's just me playing the game badly so you can see what it looks like. Okay then, this is Frogger on the Commodore VIC-20. I have never played it before. This is the sort that apparently you can go off the end of the screen and come back on the other side because it says rap allowed. This is good. We like rap, but not the music because that sounds awful. I wonder if we're going to have a problem by not being able to see the left hand. We've lost the column of characters on the left. Layer 1. I'm is running low. I don't know why it's doing that, but a lot of the games on here seem to. And I can only presume it is a quirk of the VIC-20. Oh dear. I don't know what that was, that running out of time. I like Frogger, though it's not a game that I would ever spend an I've lost myself. Phew, for a minute there I lost myself, said someone sometime. Oh, bollocks. It's this stick. You can, ooh, come here. Yay! Drowned the frog. We were going to hump the girly frog, but we chose to drown instead. Oh my god! Actually, I'm not sure if that was a girly frog or a fly. There was something. There was something on a log. Oh crap! Yeah. I'm not very good at this. Come on, let me play. High score of 780, that's sad. There we go, we're on the... I think it was... Oh, bollocks. I think it was a female frog. She was blonde. Oh crap! It is tricky with the scrolling. It's like in big chunks. It's like ZX81 scrolling. So where you think oh god, you think it's just going to move a couple of pixels and it moves a great big chunk and then you die. Not ideal for this kind of game. Oh. Yay. You've got to be very precise with this here stick. Come here, girly. Oh, bollocks. Oh, God almighty. Yeah, okay. Probably this is a game where the Atari 2600 joystick is not ideal. But, well, whatever. That is Frogger on the Commodore VIC-20, being played via the Penultimate Plus cartridge from The Future Was 8-bit. It's not my favourite game on this cartridge, and it's not my favourite version of the game, but it does pretty much what you would expect, I think. I don't think I can say more than that. It's not terrible, but it's not great. Definitely I wasn't good at it. Okay, that'll do. Thank you for watching. Hello. Today's question for Q&A is from Pop2Uno. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Link to their channel down there. And the question is, for Q&A, I'm from Mexico and always find it interesting and weird the love Europe and, as far as I can tell, England have towards the Spectrum ZX. To me, those games look slow, ugly, and barely playable. But what do I know? So my question is, what video game related fandom or success from other markets do you find hard to understand and or believe? Okay, first of all, I'm not actually a ZX Spectrum fan myself. I kind of like them and have an amount of nostalgia for them. I didn't have one back in the day. I had an Acorn Electron. For me, with the Spectrum, there are a few games that I really like. Jetpack, 3D Ant Attack. one or two others. But mostly the Spectrum, I'm like, I don't care. Though I do like having the SD card solution thingamajig, the, I'm forgetting what it's called now. Nah, it's gone. I know what I'm talking about, and it's a cool piece of kit. Anyway, it is cool to be able to load games into it through an SD card and not have to worry about all the tape loading. But yeah, it's not my favourite system from that era. But yes, to answer your question, there are a few systems where I understand why they were successful where they were, but that I look at and I see the enthusiasm for them in those other areas, and I just think, meh. And the one that mainly comes to mind is the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System. And I think the thing that irritates me is it is held up with reverence and you know, it's the phrase, it saved gaming, it saved the gaming industry, it saved console gaming. And I imagine that for the US market that is absolutely true. And it gets, I think what irks me is it gets said as if that is true for everywhere, like America is the world. I'm not slagging off Americans. There is, you see it sometimes, this blindness for the rest of the world, and it can be irritating. But yeah, I get that over in the US it saved gaming. In the UK, it was an irrelevance really. There are some people in the UK for whom it was their introduction to gaming, and so they like it. But in no way did it save gaming, because after we sort of had a gaming crash in that consoles became unfashionable and unsupported, and everything but the Atari pretty much fizzled out, even though it was the Atari that crashed the market in the first place. But straight away computers just slotted into that gap. There was no end in gaming. It was a completely organic kind of transition from consoles to computers. It was logical. Why have this thing that can only play games when you can have this thing that can play games and do other stuff? It seemed like a step up. So when the NES came out, I looked at it and was like, well, why? Why would you want this? Why step backwards? I mean, yes, the unit itself was cheap, cheaper than a computer, but then the cost of cartridges was way, way, way more. So to me, it made no sense. And then, you know, I'd see all this, oh, the NES saved gaming, and I'm just like, no, it bloody didn't. So yeah, I understand, I get it, but it irritates me. There are other systems that I look at that I'm not really familiar with, but I'm aware that they're popular in other regions. There's the Micro B in Australia. I'm not familiar with what it's like. It's a thing I heard about when I was a kid, and never saw one. I have still never seen one. I don't know what games on it are like. And were they Dick Thompson? They were like rebranded TRS-80 clones and Coco clones and all sorts of stuff, and they got named different things in different places, things like the Video Genie and the Color Genie and stuff like that. And then in France there's the Thompson MO5. I watched a video on that recently. Again, it's one that I was familiar with the name back in the day, but never saw one running. And only really within the past month have I ever actually seen one running. I saw a video of one on YouTube and watched it with much interest. And it struck me as being like somewhere, capability-wise, it fell somewhere between the Spectrum and the Amstrad. And I thought, that looks really kind of cool. I would have liked to have got my hands on one of them back in the day. There's the Enterprise 64, which it came out in the UK and bombed. No one bought it. It was too little, too late, and too expensive. And so they all got shipped off to Hungary. I'm fortunate I have one. And it's a cool piece of kit. though mostly it's like Enterprise 128s you'll find in Hungary. But they did really rather well over there, and I think there's still an amount of support for them even now, which is great. Yeah, so there are systems that it's like I'm aware of them. I'm aware that they did well abroad. There are none where I think, what the hell? Why? I think I largely understand why, and a lot of it is down to economics. A thing that is maybe past it in one country does well in another. I mean, look at the Mega Drive in Brazil. That was going strong way into PlayStation kind of era and beyond. They probably still sell them now, I don't know. Yeah, so nothing where I think, but a lot that I think, that's interesting that they got that and that did well there and didn't do well here. Okay, I think that's all I've got to say on that, really. So, anyone else who's got any questions they would like answering in a video like this, leave your question in the comments below. Begin your question with for Q&A so that I know not to just answer it in the comments. Okay, thank you for watching.
So look, just subscribe to this Benway chap and we can all go home. I'll have a glass of claret and, bollocks.